Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Press Box, a weekly presentation of the Dispatch and the Rock Island Argus, and presented by Zeglin's TV and Appliance. I'm Steve Tappa. This is my boss, Marc Nesseler. We're here, Western Big Six boys basketball hitting the midpoint. And,
seems like forever since I've been in the press box. The last time I was in the press box, I actually was healthy. I hadn't missed 4 days of work. I don't have this cough. I got a Halls dropping in my mouth as we speak, and God, it seems
still fighting.
I'm hoping
Christmas.
I'm hoping that being in the press box is my cure.
There you go. There you go.
As we try to cure the what ails some of the Big Six teams, and some of them have cured themselves with their play in the past week.
They have. They really have. And it seems like Jeff Schimmel, the Moline coach, said it Monday. He goes, "We've all gone through something."
And
not what you've gone through, but they've all gone through something.
No, they went through it before I went through it, and they probably,
right.
Interviewing them in the locker room is probably where I got it from. But anyway, you're right. Every team in the Big Six has gone through some sort of change. I think maybe Quincy withstanding. I haven't seen Quincy yet.
I have, and they've been competitive.
Right.
They just don't have a lot of size.
So let's take it, team by team. I think the team to be most wary of now, as we head to the midpoint, as you say, of the Big Six, United Township Panthers. They've won 6 straight. Miles is in the lineup, but I really don't think that he's been the factor that everybody thought he was going to be. He's averaging like 12 points a game.
He's back. Goodwin's back, and that's taken a load off of everybody.
Yes.
Miski's really come alive, being able to do what he
I think Meske is the key to the whole team, because early on when they had those 7-8 losses in a row, he was putting up shots that just
he was
weren't
the
going
outside
anywhere.
option and good and
but his
Mitchell
shot wasn't there, and what they say about a shooter is keep shooting. He's done that. He's come around in this whole winning streak. I think that he's had as much success as any of the Panthers have. And being a key to them being back on track. And now they've got that winning mentality. Something I said that I think in my last time on Press Box, I said what they need is to learn how to win. And that's what they've done, since 2015 changed.
Well, yeah, they got a lot more confidence back with their guys back. And so it's going to be an interesting matchup this weekend.
They take on Galesburg, yeah. And there's a team
the other way.
There's a team that has to figure out what to do with some changes. Grant Gibson out with a leg injury.
Yep.
Joe Williams gone. Team rules. Last time I talked to Coach Reynolds, they were having a meeting to determine what the extent of that was be.
Right.
I've heard rest of the season. He said not necessarily. So I guess we might see an answer to that come this week. But still, there's a team that has to figure out the way to fill the gaps. Kavante Shaw, a junior, I really like the way he plays. He's got a good basketball sense to him. He knows how to go to the hoop. He's got an outside shot. What they need is that fifth starter. JJ Range fills that to an extent, but not to the extent of what left. And that's where Galesburg has to figure it out.
Well, and they showed you last week. You were there.
Unbelievable.
That they can still be in the fight. They can still. It's the long term. Over the weekend they had five games over the weekend, counting the Big Six loss to Rocky by 2 points. After the loss to Rocky, they kind of fell apart because they just don't have much of a bench.
But I think everybody expected Rock Island to roll over Galesburg.
Oh yeah,
and here
I
it
did
comes
too.
down to a last second shot. I did too. I admit it that I thought it would be 10, 12, 14 points, and here it comes down. Galesburg has a chance to win, and a block shot at the buzzer is the difference maker. So don't discount Galesburg. Don't discount Coach Reynolds, who has a way of getting out of his players the things he needs to get out of them.
Right. So Galesburg 3-1 in the conference. UT 1-3. Rocky, we should transition to.
Yeah.
They're
4-0
back on top. Same place they've been for a long time now. 4-0. Moline's coming in 2-2. Of course, they slipped against Quincy over the weekend and then righted themselves.
Right, and there you got Rock Island Moline, always a great matchup. You can probably, they say throw the records out, and it really is true. But Rock Island, I can't, their record says that they have a great record. They're state ranked. They're 4-0 in the Big Six. But as I watched them at Galesburg, and maybe it's just the way that Galesburg played physically against them, which some teams can also do against them. But I see that they need to revert back to what they were back in December 2014, where Dixon's hitting the threes and Neville's penetrating the lane and D'Angelo Hicks is being an offensive threat inside. They got to get some of that factor back. Tyler Hall has been sensational from the get-go, but they need more of that gel, I guess you could say.
Sure, and they're still working on their chemistry. They've only been back, they took a long time off from Christmas.
And Coach Sigel mentioned that too.
Yeah, so I think that affected them too. So I guess we'll see how they fare against Moline. Moline, of course, back to a work in progress.
Yeah, sudden changes. Lost 2 players last week. But I like the way I watched 3 of their 4 games at the Martin Luther King Classic there at Wharton, and I like the way that they rose to the occasion, I guess you could say. Bryce Ritchie had a great game Saturday morning. Mitchell Owens has been a rebounding force actually for them. Hasn't really scored as many points, but has been hit the boards. So they got parts again that are filling the gaps, as we've seemed to have said often throughout this whole show. But they're going in the right direction, I think.
Yep, and of course, Moline's only loss in the tournament was to state-ranked Geneva. So, don't count them out at Rock Island.
And Alleman is another team. Ryan Hodge gets hurt this week.
Yeah,
and that's a team that was struggling in the beginning, and now it's somebody's going to have to come through.
Yeah, now they have the long trip to Quincy, and of course we should mention Geneseo has a crossover game at Rochelle. That'll be interesting, and of course there's a wealth of area games to check out this week. If you're not at a ball game, we'll see you back here next week.
Great to be back in the press box.
That's right, back here on the press box.
Thanks.